want to talk about BudLight?
Artist formerly known as BudLight.
Yeah, the future.
Oh my God.
BudLight's big mistakes. So I don't know if anybody's noticed lately, but there's been some hubbub about BudLight in the news. If you hadn't been paying attention, yeah, BudLight. I swear to God, I haven't heard that. I hadn't heard that.
From Transheiser-Busch, yeah, bro, it's all bad.
BudLight. Okay. So if you hadn't heard, BudLight has got themselves in a little bit of hot water. They decided to sign a little deal with an influencer, a TikTok influencer named Dylan Mulvaney. If anybody doesn't know who this is a trans woman who has been chronicling her change from being a biological man to a trans woman, and she created a series called 365 Days of Womanhood, and this gained her a lot of followers. A lot of followers, became famous to a certain amount of people. A lot of people, a hell of a lot more than any of my podcasts ever got to. So, with that being said, this garnered Dylan a lot. He actually ended up in the White House. He's been endorsed by several different people. I think Nike, been endorsed by Nike. And well, BudLight decided to throw their hat in the ring and say, well, we're gonna jump on the old social justice train too. We're gonna throw our hat in the ring, and it was the wrong ring. Apparently, they threw it into. Should have went with BLM maybe.
I mean, they could have. I mean, there's some Southern organizations that they could have gone with. It probably would have gone better than this did, by far.
Yeah.
So they didn't roll out any commercials. Just Dylan went and made, I don't know, his, them, her, it's.
Still
I don't know.
Weenie. She still got a weenie.
Yeah, so dude went and made a commercial, right? On his YouTube. And then it just got out. Twitter's a beast. It's undefeated. Twitter got a hold of it. And the next thing you know, Bud Light's going downhill, which is fine. I don't drink that stuff anyway. But now their stock has gone down so much that they are literally trying to manipulate it by telling people, don't buy our stock and don't sell our stock right now. Just hold while they try and figure out what the hell they're going to do. And if somebody like Trump, who has at least $1 million in Anheuser stock, if he was to sell that, it would manipulate the market so bad that it could drop, I mean, to $40.
Stock tends to not be as volatile as everything else in the small scale time frame. And the reason I say that is because it takes a while for, like they talk about the boycott. They're calling this the Budweiser boycott. Or the Bud Light boycott. It takes a little while for these things to actually take effect. And so now we're starting to actually see some of the ramifications. So the real pain hasn't even hit the stock yet. It's whenever the earnings come in, whenever the quarterly earnings come in, and they come in bad, that's going to be a completely different situation. That's whenever real chunks start. Like initially it took maybe 4 or 5%, something like that. What they're really tripping on is the leading indicators. The leading indicators of just the anecdotal stuff, basically. The pictures from shelves. Retailers saying, some retailers have just called and said, we're just not going to have it. We just won't have it in our stores any longer. Several bars have said that. And believe it or not, there's 6 bars. I got this from timcast.com. There's 6 bars in the city of Chicago, gay bars, who have decided that Bud Light did not back Dylan enough that they're boycotting Bud Light too, because they didn't boycott the gay folks enough. Or
that's
they
crazy.
Didn't the gay folks enough.
See,
Right?
I've run a couple of bars in my life. Like been the GM of 2 bars in my life. And Bud Light I'm ordering 2 to 1 every time when it comes to ordering kegs, right? When I'm doing inventory, I know I need 6, 7 kegs of Bud Light back there. As to the other beers, like a Budweiser, you're going to order 1 keg, Blue Moon, 2 kegs, 805, 1 keg, but it's always 6, 7 Bud Lights. And now they're not selling it. Now it's just going to sit there and go green.
So see, now Bud Light's trying to clean it up, right? They're trying to say, oh, no, this was just a can. We just sent out a can, and Dylan made the video on her own, and it wasn't even a campaign or anything like that. But here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with that, is whenever it very first happened, the woman, Hendershide, I may have got her name wrong. It's like Hendershide, something like that. The woman who came up with the campaign, came up with the idea in the first place, whenever it first happened, she came out and gave a statement. She defended what had happened.
Yeah.
She said, these guys got a frat boy image. We're tired of our fan base and our customer base having a frat boy image, this immature frat boy bratty image. We don't want that anymore. Right. So this wasn't something that happened behind the scenes, and then you guys didn't know what was going on, and whenever you figured out it was going on, you shut it down. You came out and defended it. The woman came out and defended it. And then a week later, you let the woman go. Right? So clearly she was still speaking for the company. She's not going to come out and just make that statement on her own. Right? After the whole thing blew up, like after the first 3 or 4 days, whenever it first blew up, she come out and make a statement. She's not going to make that statement unless she's backed up by the company, right? Well, only a fool would just come out and start making statements like the whole thing just exploded. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I know what to do. You know what I mean? No, clearly, you had the backing of your company.
She completely alienated everybody who drinks Bud Light because it is a frat party beer. It is NASCAR beer. It is the working man's beer. And all of those people ain't looking for some transformer to be on the can when they're drinking out of it. And I mean, they missed the mark. They missed the mark so bad that it's going to cost their stockholders so much. Yeah. And good. Stay out of politics. That's a lesson for all these companies. Like, you're getting wound up by all these news organizations that make you think that all this wokeness is like something important. It's not important. It's just important to the people who actually run these media conglomerates. But to us, it's more offensive that you would do something like that.
I have to think at a multi-billion-dollar company, because they described this to me one time with graphic design. They said if Nike messes up, if they pay for a logo and they underbid a logo and then the logo comes out like trash, it costs millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, because everything gets pressed with the same logo, right?
Yeah.
So they have people that go over, analysts who go over every decision they make, and their whole job is to figure out how you could possibly critique what is happening. You're supposed to have somebody that's always willing to play the devil's advocate and say, that could look like this, that could look like that, whatever. And I have to believe that they're running these decisions by somebody.
There is zero chance that the top dogs in Anheuser did not approve this. Nobody snuck something this big by them. They thought they were jumping on the woke wagon, and in return, they got shot in the foot, bro.
They did. They thought it was their turn. Mm-hmm. They were like, here we are. Boom.
Exactly. And they see companies like Nike doing, the BLM commercials, and, they see all these other companies. Bro, it's not the same. It's not the same. Like, you are primarily a white man, 22 to 65-year-old. That's who's drinking your beers for the most part. Pretty much. And you just alienated every single one of them in the name of trying to look like you're with the trend.
And that's weird too, That's weird too, because you'd only know that if you were in the culture, right? If you're in the culture, you know that generally black people, if they're drinking beer, it's generally not Bud Light. That's a generalization, of course, but it's mostly a white dude, maybe even Mexican. Mexicans kind of like Budweiser. Mexicans tend to like
Modelo.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
If they're gonna drink Bud, you know what I mean? They tend to like Budweiser, but it's mostly like a Chicano or a white beer, right? It's a cheap, low end beer because if you can afford better, you pay better. If you can afford a Corona, you just go buy a Corona, right? But if not, you buy them Bud Light, and you would think that they would understand that you would know, you would be able to collect some sort of data and know who your customer is, and. Okay, so now think about it like this. Jeremy from the Quartering was talking about it like this. Jeremy from the Quartering on YouTube. They had the cast of the Book of Mormon. You know the Book of Mormon?
Yeah.
They had the cast of the Book of Mormon come out and dance around with Bud Light and drink the Bud Light and thought this was going to be a good idea. They said, oh, well, we're supporting them. You just made them look way gayer than they already were. That's what they were trying to avoid.
Hey, that's... And it's never going to end either. It's never going to end. If I was in a bar serving a beer right now and somebody asked for a Bud Light, I'd say, how many you want? You know, it'd be all bad, bro. Just to mess with them.
Have you seen that? Remember the Kermit the Frog on Family Guy? It's back where you came from.
Yeah. It's all bad, bro. It's all bad.
So, okay, so they come out. This woman, Hendershide or whatever her name is, she comes out. She says, no. This we know what we're doing, and we're tired of the frat boy nonsense, and we got this covered. And so then about 4 or 5 days later, they fire her. And then like 2 days later, they fire her boss, right? So now I can't figure out if what they're doing is, and you remember then they came out with the commercial. They came out with the commercial with the Clydesdales, with the big horses. They tried that. And then the next stop was the country fried, little bit of chicken fried, cold beer on Friday
Like a
night.
Chevy commercial for a beer, commercial now.
Yeah, so they used the song. They went and bought the rights to the song Chicken Fried and made an America type commercial. That didn't work. No one cared about that. That was about 2 to 3 weeks ago. They did that. So they hit 2 commercials back to back. Clydesdale, America, and then
I'm gonna send you one.
They fired 2 people. They hit 2 commercials. Now where are we at? They've decided. They put out a statement. They finally put out a statement. Statement don't say much of nothing. It's just mealy-mouthed. We want to put America first, and we don't think we should be involved, and da-da-da-da-da. It's just a bunch of nonsense. They're completely avoiding anything that has to do with taking responsibility for what they've done, which is offending the people who buy your damn product.
Right.
You got one job, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised to see whoever drives the Bud Light car to try and drop Bud Light off their NASCAR. Say, no, I don't want you as a sponsor right now.
The Bud Light car. I don't know who the Bud Light car
Who
is.
is the Bud Light car?
Yeah,
Let's talk
I
about
didn't
that.
think of that.
That's got to be a good driver
Anybody
right
know
there.
who the Bud Light car is? Whew.
He's going to need to go ahead and take Modelo's money,
Yeah,
bro.
I know. That fool's going to he's going to be like this right now.
Can you imagine what the Bud Light fans are saying? Or the NASCAR fans that hate that dude?
You might as well just paint it rainbow. Just go with it, dog.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bud Light. I still got the Bud Light thing up there. The whole time.
I mean, it's coming to the point finally, though, and I'm glad that America's standing up and saying, hey, man, enough of this shit. You know, like, I don't care who you think you want to be or who you know, if you're a dude and you want to be a woman, be a woman. But I'm not going to call you any kind of weird pronouns, or I'm not going to cater to you going to the bathroom with my daughter. Like, I'll call you miss if that's what you're asking, but don't expect me to treat you like a woman. If you are, hey, if a trans comes up talking shit to me, I'm gonna probably knock it out like a man, because that's a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's getting too crazy. And you want acceptance? Okay, you're accepted, but Jesus, stop asking for special treatment.
I think we could solve all the problems and just make all the bathrooms unisex.
That would cause so many new problems, bro. Do you know how much?
They have unisex bottom. There's unisex bathrooms all over the place. There's plenty of buildings that have unisex bathrooms. It's pretty much standard practice.
In California?
No, they're all over the place. There's buildings with unisex bathrooms. Call them family bathrooms.
Well, listen, a family bathroom's different because there's only one toilet in there, so that's fine.
No,
I'm
there's
talking
ones
about
that they divide up. You can divide them up. There's unisex bathrooms, bro. I promise you there is. Maybe not in Nevada. Colorado there is. We got money out here, bro. They got money to do stuff. State makes them do stuff. What do you want?
No, you guys are on that little left side when it comes to certain things. That's what that is right there. Your blue is showing.
Okay. How dare you? So, do you like the background?
I do. I love it.
Yeah.